the other thing is, you know, this idea around affirmations and positive psychology that's very, you know, popular is that I've been there, you know, I've worked with affirmations and all of that, and it's not that I don't believe in them per se. I do believe in, you know, the whole metaphysics and, you know, the law of attraction and all of that. And the thing is, if we don't clean up our personal museum, there's a lot of old beliefs stuck, which are so deep-seated and unconscious that no matter how positive you try to be, it's not actually going to work because there's this stuff going on. So that's why it's so important, also why it's so important to clean up and to clear this, because the more clarity you have in your energy field, then things start to flow. Then I have really experienced how things come together and you start to meet people and all the synchronicities that happen. The more you do this, the more the synchronicities happen. I think that is a big part of the equation that in the classical coaching training especially is missing. You know, and I love coaching and I, you know, love taking people forward, but if there's stuff in the back that hasn't been addressed, then you can only go forward so much, and then you know, it's kind of like one forward and 2 steps back. The other thing is I'm a leadership coach, and I work with I work in the area of leadership development. There is no human being I have ever met who doesn't have this personal museum, who doesn't have a story to tell. And some of them, and believe me, I've met a lot of people, thousands of people, and no one has not had a story. And sure, some of them are less traumatic, and some of them are very traumatic, and there's many in between where in some form or another we have bad experiences, and sometimes, you know, we have dysfunctional families. And I would say I know a handful of people at the most where I can safely say that sounded like a functional family. We all have our stories, and we don't like to wash our laundry, as we say, in public. No person in any leadership position does not have a story. And I am absolutely convinced that it is the responsibility of every single person who is in the leadership position, because they're impacting all these people around them, to do their homework. And by doing their homework, I mean cleaning up their own personal museum, precisely because they impact and influence so many people in their life, and to role model. There's no shame with having our own stories. I mean, that is part of it. That makes us human. We are human beings, and by the more we're able to show up in a way which is in tune, in essence, where we're in flow. It's not about our ego. It's when we're in this place of in contact with essence, we show up in such a way that we're so much more connected to love, and love from deep within, where we don't have to prove anything to anyone, where we're no longer dependent on anyone in the sense of we care, but we're not dependent on it. We are independent, but we're not aloof. So it's this place of what we call essence. It's this place of centeredness, the way I have experienced it, because the thing is, you can't get attached to that either. The moment you're attached, you're back in your interject. You know, you're back caught up in something where there's frozen energy. When this is flowing, you're in a place where you have this inner peace. You can deal with whatever shit that happens outside, and you don't react as much, at least. And you can stay centered and balanced. And energy keeps flowing, and you recognize very quickly where you might be stuck, and then you resolve it, and then things start to flow again. I truly believe that everyone has to, or ideally, my wish is that everybody would do their homework Because if everybody were to do their homework, and particularly people in positions of leadership and high responsibility, the impact they're going to have on the people around them, both at home and at work and this world, it all begins with each one of us. And I am just so convinced of that. I've seen the changes in my own life, and my relationships have changed. It took me a long time to get to this place. It took me a long time to be able to set boundaries in such a way that it wasn't about pushing the other person away, but it wasn't, looking for needy. It wasn't out of neediness. It's what I call healthy detachment, setting healthy boundaries. And there's a sense of contentedness. Now, if each of us were to do that, just imagine what would happen. My relationship, sure, there's a lot of work still to be done. Believe me, it's endless. I don't know if that's good news or bad news, but it becomes a whole lot easier. And there's a whole lot less drama in my life. I think a lot of this stuff is, I would call it drama. This is drama. And some of us have a lot of drama, and some of us love the drama because, there's a lot of energy in there, but I don't know if that's the kind of energy you want to have and be, have impacting other people. So if we were each doing that, and if people in positions of leadership were to pay more attention, wow, what a different place this would be, this world. Just think about it. I rest my case.